It's going to come from quarterback, also transfer from University of Southern Florida, Mike White.
Two big transfers. Mathers is one of them. White is another. He's a guy, only the third opening day starter since 2010 for the Hilltoppers. He's a guy who can make some things happen through the air. Look for him to be a playmaker as well.
We're here in the heart of football country, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Historic Murfreesboro, Tennessee. We've got kickoff between the Toppers and the Raiders coming up next. Cardona, who caught up with the defensive coordinator for Western Kentucky, Nick Holt.
So it's really going to come down to who is better on defense. He said as for them, they plan to eliminate the big play, keep the ball out in front of them, and be extremely physical on this Blue Raiders offense. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Beautiful day here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, about 82 degrees at kickoff. Alongside Alex Myers, I'm Jake Rose. We mentioned at the outset of this broadcast, Alex, just how important this game was, not only for rivalry purposes, which is all well and good, but this is a big game within conference standings.
Yeah, the rivalry's, taken for granted about how big this game is for those purposes. But you look at the standings, 4-1 on the season. MTSU's 2-0 in Conference USA. Western Kentucky 3-3 on the season, but they dropped a game and fell to 1-1 after their loss last week to Louisiana Tech. So they're looking to get back into it. MTSU, great start to the season. Everyone around here knows that. They're trying to keep that momentum going and create some more separation between themselves.
Mentioned Western Kentucky 3-3 on the year. Two of those losses are by a combined 3 points. As Cannon Rooker lines it up and sends it deep, and we're underway here in Murfreesboro. And the Hilltoppers offense will take over to start this game at their own 25-yard line. Mentioned Mike White, the redshirt junior transfer from Southern Florida, out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. 14 touchdowns this season, just 3 interceptions. 1,700 yards passing, and he will start under center. Hands off to Wales, left side. Wales picks up about 5.
And MTSU, this is an important part of the game. It's first and second down. Earlier in the week, Coach Stockstill at his weekly Monday press conference talked about their defense. They thought they could be successful against this Western Kentucky high-powered offense if and only if they had success on first and second down. If they get them in third and long, that's where they feel like they have a great opportunity for success.
Both of these offenses move quickly. White throws into the slot, finds Taylor, and he's immediately dragged down just behind the line of scrimmage. Javante Moffitt in on the play.
This is still going to be a pretty manageable situation for Mike White and this Western Kentucky offense. About 3rd and about 4 here on this opening drive.
White in the shotgun. Checks over to the sideline. Looks downfield, has Taylor, and Taylor's going to have enough for a first down before being dragged down just shy of the 40-yard line.
You talk about dragging him down. Taylor at 6'1", 190 pounds, the senior. He's pretty stout for a wideout. Tied for 7th nationally in receptions and 6th in yards. This is a guy who Mike White is going to target early and often all day long.
Taylor already has single-season Western Kentucky records for receptions, yards, and touchdowns, all set last season. 17 touchdowns on 86 receptions as Wales runs to the right side, and he's met by a wall of Raiders. Picked up about a couple.
Career records too, Jake. 197 catches for his career, totaling over 3,000 yards and 28 touchdowns. This is a guy who, if you're smart at the quarterback position, you're going to find ways to get him the ball, like I said, early and often.
Anthony Wells, the redshirt senior in the backfield from Louisville, Kentucky. Quite a few players on this Toppers team from Louisville. And a nice back shoulder route as Taylor has his third catch on this drive.
And it wasn't terrible coverage right there from MTSU. You know, Jake, you talk about a lot of players from Louisville. That's one thing I noticed, studying up for this game this week. Another thing I noticed, in the two deep, Jake, there are 18 of their two deep for both sides of the football are from the state of Kentucky. So a lot of in-state talent, and I'm sure that means something to these guys playing for Western Kentucky.
Wide in the shotgun, 3rd and short. Draw play up the middle, it's Wales. He's across the 50 and into Blue Raider territory, brought down at about the 42-yard line. Good enough for a Hilltoppers first down.
And I like that play call right there. You're thinking Mike White, all these playmakers on the outside. Instead, you give them a little draw play. It lets it set up, in great patience right there by Anthony Wales to find the hole, find the spot, and gets it upfield, and now they're in Blue Raider territory.
Wales came into this game with 71 carries, 424 yards on the ground. Good for 8th in the conference. Play action. White looking downfield, has a man. It's Font. And Font takes it inside the red zone. And the Toppers are knocking on the Blue Raider door.
Yeah, and that time, I think it was Jamonte Mofat, the 6'1" or 6'191" sophomore, got sucked in right there. He got caught looking at the quarterback, and you can't get caught doing that against an offense that moves as quickly as this one does.
Narcarius Font, part of the dynamic receiving duo for the Hilltoppers, along with Tawan Taylor, who we've seen plenty of this drive. Wide in the shotgun. Screen pass to Taylor. Shakes the tackler, dives for the pylon, and he's ruled out of bounds at about the 2-yard line.
And that's something Western Kentucky's going to do. They'll go deep. Yes, they'll do some things downfield, but they're going to find ways to get their playmakers the ball in space. And at that point, it's a one-on-one opportunity to make something happen, and he did. Got about 6 yards, and now they got it first and goal, I believe, or second and goal, excuse me, from about the 2-yard line.
Taylor checks out, and Ben Holt, the 5'11" redshirt freshman from Bowling Green, Kentucky, lines up in the backfield with Wales. Ball's on the turf. Wales able to pick it up, and the Hilltoppers just narrowly avoid disaster, as that was a very ugly play. It looked like it just popped out of the hands of Anthony Wales.
And Jake, if you're Wales right there, you're playing with fire already with the ball on the ground, but I think you just really have to fall on that ball because he's real close with MTSU defenders closing in. He's lucky to recover that.
And another 3rd down, 3rd and goal. White checks over to the sideline.
MTSU corners playing off a bit now since Western Kentucky has to get about 10 yards for the score.
White drops back, looks across the middle, knocked away. Alex Dale, the free safety. And the Hilltoppers are going to be forced to try for a field goal here with 9:59 in the first quarter.
And as high-powered as both of these offenses are, these coaches aren't dumb, Jake. They know that this is going to be a shootout. You want to get points anytime you can, obviously, but when you get inside the 2-yard line like Western Kentucky did, you really want to come away with 7.
Skylar Simcox lines this one up. And it's a fake. Simcox is going to be brought down at the Western Kentucky 27. I'm not sure if that was a fake or just a busted play. But either way, the Raiders take over on downs. No points for the Hilltoppers.
Jake, earlier, Coach Jim Brom, earlier in the week in his press conference, said they can't play scared offensively. They can't be afraid to make big calls in big situations. They want to throw in some wrinkles that the defense may not have prepared for. I don't know, as you said, if that was a fake or not, but regardless, that was a big call.
Either way, the Hilltoppers leave the red zone scoreless. We'll be right back with more Conference USA football.
MTSU has to offer, devoted to students.
Where Richie James picked up about 8 on the jet sweep. First possession for the Hilltoppers wound up fruitless. A swing pass to the right side. It's Itavius Mathers. He picks up the first down and steps out of bounds at about the 45. A failed field goal. I suppose it was a fake attempt. Certainly didn't look like the offensive line knew that for the Hilltoppers, as that entire left side of the Blue Raiders special teams unit was able to sweep right in and take care of Skylar Simcox. 1st and 10 for the Blue Raiders. Stockstill, pitch left. It's Richie James around the left side. And he's horse collared to the ground. No flag. Blue Raiders sideline. Looking for yellow, not going to get it. And that certainly did look like it was a horse collar on that near sideline against Richie James.
Patrick Smith right there, the wideout. He was the X receiver. Great block. He got about 5 extra yards because of his block.
Blue Raiders moving quickly. Play action. Stockstill looking downfield. Has a man. Dennis Andrews across the middle. And the Raiders are in business.
Andrews right there knew he was going to take a shot over the middle. It's always a dangerous play. Caught it first, then braced, got hit, and because he was so concentrated, he was able to hang on.
A transfer from Georgia Tech, former running back with his 11th catch. Stockstill hands off to Mathers, right side, breaks a couple of tackles, picks up a handful, and is brought down just outside of the 20-yard line.
I like his running style in Mathers. You know, Jake, he's not a guy who's going to dance around too much, but he has a little wiggle to him. But once he makes a guy miss, he knows immediately to get it upfield, and because of that, he's able to get a few more yards.
2 backs in the backfield with Stockstill. Hand off to Richie James around the right side. Breaks a tackle and gets brought down at about the 15, a couple yards shy of a Blue Raider first down.
So many distractions going on with both of these offenses. You know, you've always got an option for a reverse or you know, some sort of trickery, and that time they decided to not go with the trick play, but I think it caused the defense to hesitate just for a second and allowed him to get to the edge.
The Blue Raiders substitute, so they have to allow for the Hilltoppers defense to substitute. And this right here could be considered the Blue Raiders jumbo package. Bootleg, Stockstill left hand, fires, and it is caught. Just shy of a first down, and that was very close to being an interception for Brandon Leston.
Leston right there, as you mentioned, he was coming in hot, and if Stockstill, he's got to be careful. He kind of threw that off his back foot. He really wasn't set up to throw that very well, and he almost got it intercepted. And Jake, I don't think if Western Kentucky picks that ball off, no one's stopping.
That was Linder on the catch for Middle Tennessee. 4th down, Raiders going for it at about a yard. And this is one of the very few times that you will ever see Brent Stockstill under center in this game. He's going to take it himself, push forward. We do have flags on the play.
That's very close. Hard to tell right now. You got to see who's at the bottom of that pile.
And we'll check out what the flag's all about.
False start. Offense number 73.
It's going to be a false start on Middle Tennessee, and this will likely bring out Cannon Rooker.
Yeah, I believe that's the right decision, and that is indeed what Coach Stockstill is going to do. Unfortunate right there for Middle Tennessee.
And Brent Stockstill, not exactly the biggest quarterback, just 6 feet, just over 200 pounds. It's not like Ben Roethlisberger's back there trying to get you a yard on a quarterback sneak. Rooker lines it up. This one from 37. And it's good. The Blue Raiders take a 3-0 lead with 6:24 to go here in the first quarter. Welcome back to Murfreesboro, where the Blue Raiders have taken an early 3-0 lead over the Hilltoppers here in the 66th meeting of the 100 Miles of Hate.
Kalen Towner, the deep man, along with Nicarius Fant for Western Kentucky. Both of these guys 5'9", under 190 pounds. They're quick, though.
And this one's going to be dropped in the end zone by Towner, and he's going to take the touchback. And we actually talked about this prior to the game during our meal. We talked about how important special teams is going to be for Middle Tennessee in terms of stopping Western Kentucky, especially Narcarius Fant, 2-time Special Teams Player of the Week in Conference USA, already has 2 punt returns for a touchdown this season.
He's a really dangerous guy back there. He's a threat to take it to the house. Really, at any moment he touches the ball. So right now MTSU's playing the kickoffs perfectly by just not giving them a chance. They're kicking them so deep.
Mike White back out calling the shots for the Hilltoppers. Hands off to Wales, left side. Picks up a block and only picks up a few yards, just shy of the 30-yard line.
And I don't know if we can get a replay, but right here, Chris Melton, a 6'1", 210-pound sophomore, he gets upended, Jake, and somehow still fights back, almost crawling in to help make the tackle. Great effort play right there by Melton.
A lot of experience on this Western Kentucky offensive line. 153 combined starts on this offensive line for the Hilltoppers. Play action. White looks downfield. Has a man across the middle. And it's going to be good enough for a Hilltopper first down. That's going to be Desmond Maxwell, the redshirt senior.
And while he can obviously catch, you saw it right there, really Maxwell is oftentimes used as a blocking fullback in goal line situations. That's how they used him last season. So if you get down there around the 2 like they did last drive, look for him to possibly come in as almost a fullback.
And that first down pickup was actually Maxwell's first catch on the season. Fant lines up on the near sideline. Hand off to Wales, left side. He's got room. Stiff arm. And he's going to pick up a first down, but we've got a flag at about the 35-yard line.
And that play right there, number 51, the left guard, Brandon Ray, with a terrific block. He blocked the last guy on the edge to really spring Wales. And it's not going to count there.
Illegal hands to the face. It's going to be 15 yards. And a repeat of first down. Western Kentucky coming into this game 3-3. First loss of the season came at Alabama. They lost 38-10 in Tuscaloosa. And they lost a heartbreaker 2 weeks later in overtime against Vanderbilt. 30-31, play action. White looking downfield. Lets it loose, he's got a man. And it's Nicholas Norris with his first catch of the day. And a little bit of extracurricular activity on the sideline, and the laundry's on the carpet.
I believe they're going to get Mike Minter, the redshirt junior for MTSU. Kind of gave him a little headbutt at the end on the sideline. There was definitely some jawing going around. But for MTSU, you got bigger problems. You've got to get back to the quarterback. Mike White is standing back there, pitching a tent. He's got all day to throw.
And we see right there Norris wide open. And just a little bit too much after the whistle on the sideline there, and head coach Rick Stockstill was giving Minter an earful.
Yeah, as a redshirt junior, that's just a play that you got to be wise enough not to make, and I'm sure this game's emotional. As big of a rivalry it is with homecoming, we've got a nice crowd here, but hey, these games can come down 1 or 2 points as we've seen, so you got to be smarter than that.
So tacking on 15 yards to the big play. And the Hilltoppers are lined up at the Blue Raider 30. Now White will go under center. 3 wide, 2 at the top of your screen. White, screen pass. Back to Fant. Fant looked like he was going to throw it. And he's going to be brought down behind the line of scrimmage. And a little bit more trickery there from the Hilltoppers.
Yeah, I was with you. At first I thought Fant was going to turn around and throw it, but I looked at the line judge, and he signaled his arm towards the end zone, which is really the signal that that's a forward pass. So wisely, he just turned it upfield.
Moffitt on the tackle, his second on the day. And that completion to Norris 2 plays ago was good for 35 yards.
Coming into the game now is Kalen Towner, the dangerous return man. If he gets the ball, he can do something with it.
White in the shotgun, hands off to Wales, left side. Lowers his shoulder, picks up about 4. Clock runs as we are at the 3:40 mark here in the first quarter.
This offensive line is really impressing me right now, Jake. And one of those guys, Forrest Lamp, this is a guy who stands 6'4", 300 pounds, a redshirt senior, another Kentucky guy out of Louisville. you want to talk about awards. This guy is just about on every award watch list you can name for a lineman.
White in the shotgun. Calls for a man in motion. Drops back. Across the middle, and it's only going to pick up about 5, and it'll be 3rd down.
Be interesting to see with 3rd and, well, it's going to be 4th down, but the middle was wide open before the play started that time. I wonder if Western Kentucky may try to attack that more as they did on that play.
Norris on the catch, and Skylar Simcox will step out for the field goal attempt.
I don't think this one will be a fake.
2 for 3 on the year. Kick is up. And we're tied. So 6 plays, 51 yards for the Hilltoppers, and we're knotted up at 3 right here on ESPN 3. 7 plays, 51 yards, 3 minutes and 55 seconds as Skylar Simcox ties this game at 3 with a 42-yard field goal with 2:30 to go here in the first quarter. Here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, alongside Alex Myers and Sarah Cardona. I'm Jake Rose. Thank you so much for joining us today on ESPN 3 for the 66th installment of 100 Miles of Hate. Of course, the 100 miles, the distance between right here in Murfreesboro, Kentucky, and Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and Bowling Green, Kentucky, where last year Western Kentucky was all over the Blue Raiders, 58-28. Scored 28 points in the first quarter. Raiders looking for a little bit of revenge here today, and that play will be blown dead before it even gets started.
False start. Offense 56. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, last year 52 points at halftime for the Hilltoppers.
Well, certainly they're not on that average so far, but I wouldn't count your chickens before they hatch, Jake. This is likely to be a high-scoring affair early on here.
Britt Stockstill back in with the Blue Raider offense, looking to move the ball down the field. He's going to keep it. He's going to break 1 tackle and get brought down at about the 26-yard line. I'm not sure if that was a broken play or not, Brent. Not really one to take it on his own.
Looks like they might have been trying to almost do the same play as the one before there, where they got a false start with the receiver in motion was the same.
Stockstill swing pass, and we've got another false start on the Blue Raiders.
False start. Offense number 20. 5-yard penalty, second down.
You know, when an offense comes out and before they even run a play, there's a penalty. A lot of times drives like that. I'm not trying to put the jinx on Middle Tennessee, but a lot of times drives will stall after that, especially now that you've got a second one, because you come out with a plan, with a rhythm for that particular drive as an offense, and all of a sudden it's messed up really before you even get started. See if they can overcome that right here, though.
Stockstill 3 wide at the top of your screen. Looks, steps up, gonna have to get rid of it. And he's brought down at the 25-yard line. Not sure if he got back to the line of scrimmage. But fantastic coverage by the Hilltoppers secondary. And it's 3rd and 11.
That's a good point you bring up, because the protection wasn't terrible. He had some time back there, but it's really a credit to Western Kentucky's, the Hilltoppers defensive backs, because it's really hard to stay with your guy that long.
Speaking of Hilltoppers defensive backs, Joe Brown, starting cornerback, not eligible to play in this first half after he was ejected in last week's game. Richie James across the middle breaks the tackle, and the Raiders are moving the chains.
Richie James, everyone around Murfreesboro knows how talented this guy is. Just a sophomore, had a fantastic freshman season last year. best part about that play, once he caught it, he pivoted like a basketball player and got upfield as to not try to, back cut and maybe not get the first down.
Mathers around the left side looking for room. He's got it. Cuts back to the inside. And he's got another Blue Raider first down at the 43-yard line. We talked about Richie James last season. He's only played in 19 games. This is his redshirt sophomore season. He's already 4th all-time in receptions in school history with 149 coming into this game anyway, and he is 5th all-time in yards. Mathers back to the same side. Only picks up a couple, just shy of the 40.
Talk about Richie James for a second. Western Kentucky, they've got 2 outstanding wideouts. But MTSU's saying, you know what, guys, we've got a guy of our own who's really talented, and Richie James certainly doing big things once again here in the sophomore season.
Richie James came into this game with 41 catches. The second leading receiver on the team was actually Itavius Mathers with 20. And that'll be it for the first quarter. Not quite the shootout that we had thought it would be. We're tied at 3 right here on ESPN3. Welcome back to Murfreesboro, where Western Kentucky and Middle Tennessee combined for over 200 yards of total offense in the first quarter. Just not a lot to show for it as we are tied at 3 apiece, but the Blue Raiders are driving.
MTSU, if you can, it's second and about 8 here. You'd like to get this first down, and then you can really start thinking about putting a touchdown on the board after having to settle for a field goal on that first drive. A lot of events going out here on the field, Jake, as it's homecoming weekend. As a team, though, you certainly can't let that be a distraction.
Not very often that you'll play your arch rival on homecoming week.
Yeah, it's not normally a compliment to be the foe come homecoming week, but
Stockstill hands off to Mathers up the middle on the draw play, pushing towards a first down. Will wind up just shy at the 35-yard line. Needed to get to the 33. Raiders moving quickly.
Just thinking ahead here, if for whatever reason you're MTSU and you don't get this, is this 4-down territory at this spot on the field?
I wouldn't say so just yet. But in the second half, this could definitely turn into, or in this quarter, definitely turn into the shootout we thought it would be. Stockstill lofts one downfield. He's got a man. First down, Blue Raiders. A beautiful throw from Brent Stockstill finds Desmond Anderson, the converted running back. And the Raiders are in the red zone.
Only started 1 game last year, did Desmond Anderson, but he played in 9 and certainly making his presence felt early on here.
Mathers, right side. Shifts gears and gets brought down just at about the 10-yard line.
Now, I said he's got some wiggle earlier. The word that comes to mind really is shifty. It's you don't really ever see the first guy bring Itavius Mathers down, and that's really a great trait as a running back to be able to make that first guy miss. And because if you do that enough, eventually you're going to break one.
Mathers has 5 carries for 25 yards. Stockstill looks and towards the back of the end zone. Threw that one away as Richie James was covered by Brandon Leston.
And if you're a coach, that's what you call a good incompletion if there is one, especially at this part of the field. If you're going to miss a throw, miss it high, miss it deep in the back of the end zone where the defender can't get it.
3rd and 9. Raiders have to get just inside the 2-yard line for a first down. Stockstill looks over at the sideline. Gets the call. 3 wide to the top of your screen. Play action. Stockstill steps up, fires towards the end zone, and batted away. But we've got a flag. A late flag came from the Hilltoppers sideline. And Brandon Leston is fuming.
Several players are out there for Western Kentucky. You've got to keep a cool head, though, right here, as more than likely, in all likelihood, Jake, this is going to be pass interference on defense.
Stockstill threw into double coverage.
It's a little bit dangerous. Still no signal from the referee.
The officials taking their time trying to sort this one out.
Pass interference on the defense, number 5. The foul
And it is going to be pass interference on the Hilltoppers.
2-yard line, automatic
Jason
first down.
Johnson, the redshirt freshman, called for the foul.
And they'll set up the first and goal from right at the 2-yard line on the right hash as MTSU sees it. But as you mentioned, Stock still remains in the gun, as he will for almost every snap.
Mathers in the backfield. Mathers to the right side, lowers his shoulder. Touchdown, Blue Raiders. Itavius Mathers with his 9th rushing touchdown on the season, and he is still the only Blue Raider to have a rushing touchdown this season.
I don't know if we can see that replay, but he was really patient right there. Didn't force anything and really just followed his center, big number 66, the 304-pound senior, Daniel Stevens. He kind of just followed him, and Stevens paved the way. It was like a construction game.
So a controversial flag, pass interference call in the end zone, sets the Raiders up in prime position, and Itavius Mathers drives home the score. The Raiders lead 10-3 with 13:28 to go in the first quarter. You're watching Conference USA football on ESPN3. Ten plays, 75 yards, 4 minutes of clock chewed up, and one big 2-yard run by Itavius Mathers, the hometown kid, gives the Blue Raiders a 10-3 lead against the Hilltoppers.
And once again, if you're MTSU right here, you really want to avoid getting this in the hands of their special return men.
Squib kick taken along the far sideline, and the Hilltoppers are going to have nice field position about the 40-yard line. Looked like that was Stevie Donatel from Lone Tree, Colorado.
It's one way to do it, not give the guy a chance, but I don't think that Coach Rick Stockstill still would have chosen to start for them to start the drive on the 40-yard line.
So far, the passing numbers are pretty even for both teams. 99 yards for the Blue Raiders, 93 for Western Kentucky. But when it comes to rushing yards, 42 yards on the ground for the Raiders, 0 for the Toppers. Pass out in the flat to Taylor. And he's wrestled out of bounds after about 7.
You got to be careful. The MTSU defender right there almost got hit with the late hit or unnecessary necessary roughness, whichever you call it, but got to lay off once the guy's out of bounds.
White checks with a sideline. Handoff up the middle to Wales, lowers his shoulder. And the Hilltoppers have their 7th first down of the afternoon.
You put them in the stat book, Jake. They now have rushing yards on the day. That'll give them about 3 right there, but it does the trick as Western Kentucky keeps this drive alive, getting that first down, and now they're past the 50 into Middle Tennessee territory.
Play action. White crosses body and batted away. And a dangerous throw from Mike White, as it looked like Shaquille Huff broke through the front line of Western Kentucky.
It's dangerous enough throwing across the field like that, but when you kind of loft it up like White did right there, he didn't really get ever settled in and planted on his back foot. Really asking for it right there. Lucky to come away with just an incompletion.
Second down, White drops back, fires on the far sideline. He's got a man. And another first down. It's Lucky Jackson with his first catch on the day and just his 7th on the year.
Seeing almost a platoon sub here for Middle Tennessee, getting 4 new defensive linemen in here, and I think that's a good choice because right now they're just getting no pressure on Mike White.
White working quickly, screen pass. Taken back up the middle, it's Norris. Picks up about 7.
It's a perfect play call. You know, you see what Middle Tennessee's doing. They're wanting to get the new guys in so they can rush the quarterback and be more effective in that area. And what do you do when a team's over-pursuing to the quarterback? Flick a little screen pass out there. Nice pickup right there for Western Kentucky.
Pitch back. And Fant looked like he was going to throw it downfield again. Decides to keep it and picks up a first down. Looked like an option pitch there. Certainly a design play for Fant to throw it. Didn't have anything downfield. Was also feeling some pressure from the Blue Raider defense. Takes it himself and picks up a first down.
It was a wise decision. He could have tried to force it right there to make a play, but instead tucks it upfield and gets a first down.
Hand off to Wales, right side. Turns it upfield a little bit and is brought down at about the 21-yard line. Pickup of about 5.
On first down, picking up 5. That's what Coach Rick Stockstill talked about earlier in the week. Jake is, he wanted to get stops on first and second down. That way they could force him to third and longs. He felt like third and longs, his defense could really, really hold this Hilltoppers offense. But getting 5 yards on first down certainly isn't what they want.
10.5 minutes to go. White drops back. Far side flat. It's Wales. He comes down with it inbounds, but it looks like he's going to be just shy of a first down. It'll be 3rd and short for the Toppers, and another dangerous pass.
And just who I was looking for, Jake, as into the ball game comes big number 89, Desmond Maxwell, the tight end who caught his first pass of the season a drive or so ago. At 6'2", 250, he's a guy that they almost use as a glorified fullback. Right now he's lined up on the right side. But you got to look to the left side to be able to run too, because that's really the strong side of their offense.
4 yards on the completion to Wales. Handoff up the middle to Wales. He's got room, lowers his shoulder, and he takes a couple Blue Raiders defenders with him all the way to the 5-yard line.
There's a lot of things coaches look for when recruiting running backs, but one of the unsung things that they do that's so great is finishing runs. How do you finish a run? He got about 2 or 3 extra yards after contact because he lowered his shoulder, lowered his head, and bulldozed the guy, and really sets up Western Kentucky for a great opportunity to put some points on the board here. 1st and goal from the 6-yard line.
And it looked like middle linebacker Darius Harris, the leading tackler for the Blue Raiders, was on the receiving end of the shoulder pads of Anthony Wales. Throw right sideline. Taylor gets it inside the 5 to the 4-yard line. 2nd down and goal.
Great defense right there from the cornerback for MTSU. He could have got sucked in on the motion, but instead stayed at home, fought off a blocker, and was able to force Taylor out of bounds.
Mike Minter in on the tackle. 10 plays, 56-yard drives. 56-yard drive, I should say. Clock still ticking. Man in motion. Handoff. Wales up the middle. Bounces around a little bit and gets brought down at about the 1-yard line. So 3rd and goal for the 1 for the Hilltoppers.
Talked about it all game several times, Jake. You don't want to get in 3rd and 2nd and 3rd and short situations. Well, this is 3rd down and about as short as you can get. You only need about a yard to score. This is your money down as a defensive player, defensive coordinator, what have you. This is where, kind of the men are separated from the boys. You can bend but don't break. If you hold them to a field goal, you still have the lead. If not, then this is likely a tie ball game.
2 tight ends set for Western Kentucky. Shaquille Johnson and Desmond Maxwell both in. Handoff. Wales. Touchdown, Western.
Wales with the carry, touchdown.
12 plays, 60 yards. And the Hilltoppers are a point after attempt away from tying this game up at 10.
A couple of consecutive for both teams. Really solid, really good drives from the standpoint of it's not like you went out there and in 2 or 3 plays down the road you hit a 50-yard pass to score. Methodical almost is how I would describe the past couple of drives we've seen from these teams. Wears out the defense, and right here Western Kentucky looking to tie this ball game up at 10 apiece.
And so much for not having any rushing yards, as Anthony Wales was the premier player on that drive for Western Kentucky.
It almost seems like, as an offensive staff, Brom over there for Western Kentucky said, look, we're going to run the ball, whatever it takes. We're going to get our rushing attack going this drive. And certainly that's what they were looking to do. They were successful.
looked like Middle Tennessee jumped the snap, but we're having a meeting of the minds with the officials to sort it out.
On the kick,
and it's actually going to be a false start against Western Kentucky.
I was wondering if that might be the case, just because of the length, the longevity of that meeting. Normally if it's an easy call like that, they'll just throw the flag and make the call. But there was a little bit of discussion, and for good reason, as it was actually on the offense.
Skylar Simcox trying to tie it up. Kick is up. And we are tied at 10 here in Murfreesboro. Don't go anywhere. We've got more Western Kentucky and Middle Tennessee. "12 plays, 60 yards, and 5 minutes and 18 seconds of clock used for an Anthony Wales touchdown, his 7th on the season. And the Blue Raider defense got a heavy dose of Anthony Wales on that last drive, as we are now tied at 10 here in Murfreesboro.
See him on the right side of your screen there. Wales is a guy with a lot of talent. Doak Walker Award watch list preseason. Only the 6th running back in Western Kentucky history to rush for 1,000 yards in consecutive seasons.
Kickoff sent well downfield, and
Ranella's kickoff into the end zone.
we're going to have a touchback. The Raiders will take over at the 35-yard line. Alongside Alex Myers and our sideline reporter Sarah Cardona, I'm Jake Rose. Thank you so much for spending a beautiful Saturday afternoon here in the Mid-South with us on ESPN3.
Couldn't ask for much better of a day. It's starting to get fall weather. It's cooling off a little bit, so it's not hot, but it's not really cold yet. It's really a very pleasant Saturday afternoon here in Middle Tennessee.
Brent Stockstill on the Blue Raider offense back out on the field. Stockstill looking deep downfield. And he's going to overthrow Desmond Anderson, who was very well covered by DeAndre Simmons.
It's a good no call by the official. I was afraid they were going to call an offense or defensive pass interference, but I believe Anderson over on the left side was going for that ball, just kind of got tripped up on his own feet right there.
2nd and 10 for the Blue Raiders. Stockstill finds Richie James, and Richie James is pushed out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
At about the 40-yard line, just shy of the 40-yard line.
One of the things I've been impressed with most with this Blue Raider wide receiving core is the blocking downfield. It's not just about can you catch the ball. They're making plays happen downfield because they're blocking.
Quick screen pass to Richie James. He's going to get dropped at the 45-yard line.
Picking up quick little plays like that, even though it's not a ton of yards, getting 3, 4, 5 yards on first down keeps your offense in a nice rhythm and really takes the pressure off your quarterback, knowing that he just has to pick up just a few more yards to get another first down.
James with 5 catches on the day so far for 57 yards, and Brent Stockstill is 9 of 11 for 112 yards.
Not a lot of help out here on the right side if a receiver were to go deep.
2nd and about 6. Octavius Mathers shakes, and he might have enough for a first down. A nice back cut towards midfield by Octavius Mathers, and that will indeed move the chains for the Blue Raiders.
And that's another Blue Raider.
Mathers now has 7 carries today. Raiders moving quickly. Mathers back to the left side. Changes ground again, goes back to midfield. A nifty move by Octavius Mathers. And that's going to be close to another Blue Raider first down.
I talked, Jake, about how quick and how shifty Mathers was, but I'm actually starting to become even more impressed with Mathers' vision as a running back. He's patient. He doesn't force things right there. It looked like he was going to get a nice gain, turn it to even better gain just by sitting there and being patient and watching.
Another first down for the Blue Raiders. Screen pass, far sideline. Pickup of a couple. It's C.J. Wyndham.
It's great. He was on an island out there, was Wyndham. It was a great tackle over there on the left side, because if he didn't make that tackle, if he would have, offensive player would have been able to make Wyndham miss, probably looking at 8-9 yard gain. Instead, it's only about a gain of 1 or 2.
Wyndham, a true freshman, part of a revamped receiving core as injuries have taken their tolls early in the season for the Raiders. Crossing pattern, Richie James across the field. He's inside the 30 and another Blue Raider first down.
This is more of what we expected. Kind of delete the first two drives for each team, or first drive, I should say, for each team out of your memory. These offenses both in such a nice rhythm the past 2 or 3 drives. This is what we expected coming into this game, and right now the defenses are starting to look a little hopeless.
So tough to be a defender, especially a defensive back in today's game where teams are throwing the ball 55 times a game and offenses are moving so quickly. Handoff up the middle. It's going to be the first carry of the day for Terrell West.
You talk about how tough it is to be a defender, not only because of how pass happy a lot of offenses are, but also the rules. You look at it top to bottom, whether it's the professional football in the NFL, college, looking down to high school, the rules have almost been catered towards the offense, making it more of an offensive, exciting game. And as a defender, you've got to work around that and find ways to still be effective.
It is a fun time to be a quarterback, that is for sure. I'm sure head coach Rick Stockstill, who was a quarterback in his day at Florida State, would have loved to have played in today's systems.
7-on-7 error.
2nd and 7. 4 wide for the Raiders. Stockstill going downfield. He's got a man and knocked away. And nice defense on the far side of the field was Jason Johnson, the redshirt freshman, knocking it away from C.J. Wyndham.
Johnson, the 6'2", 205 redshirt freshman, as you mentioned, out of Pahokee, Florida. It's a really talented area right there, and it was I thought it was a pretty good throw by Brent Stockstill, just an even better play there from Johnson.
Trips to the left for Stockstill. Mathers offset to the right. Stockstill looking right. Here comes the blitz, and he's able to throw it away. But Brent Stockstill is knocked down for the first time today. And it's Omarius Bryant
late flag,
driving the quarterback into the turf, and we do have a late flag thrown at about the 25-yard line.
Came in, I believe, from the back, Judge, so I don't know what that could have been unless there was some jawing, because it was, as you said, well after the play had concluded. So we're once again going to have a semi-lengthy conversation, but as long as the referees are getting the calls right, I'd rather them take that extra few seconds to discuss it.
Stockstill now 11 of 15 on the day, 126 yards. Looks like this is going to be
there are 2 fouls on the play. Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 24. Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 29. That's both players' first unsportsmanlike conduct foul. They offset, 4th down.
So it's going to be offsetting personal fouls on Ty Lee, the freshman wide receiver for Middle Tennessee, and Leverick Johnson, the junior cornerback for the Hilltoppers. It's going to be 4th down as Cannon Rooker takes the field.
Cannon Rooker will attempt the 41-yard field goal.
41-yard attempt. Kick is up. And good. The Blue Raiders take a 13-10 lead off the foot of Cannon Rooker, his 2nd field goal today with 4:17 to go. Blue Raiders. 51-yard drive on 11 plays, 3 minutes and 53 seconds. There's Richie James.
That's a guy who looks focused.
6 catches, 69 yards today. Cannon Rooker's 2nd field goal has given the Blue Raiders a 13-10 lead. With 4:17 to go. Short kick taken by Fant at the 15. And he's going to step out about the 28-yard line. So it seems that the Blue Raiders are thinking that if we have to kick off to Western, we're going to try and get it in a situation where we can tackle them as soon as we can instead of letting Fant or Kylan Towner hurt them in the special teams game.
I think one way they're doing that, and I like that option that they just did better than the squib kick that got, ended up starting at the 40, This time they put a little more air under the ball, almost like a pooch kick. Lets the kicking team and the tacklers get down there a little further down the field before their specialists get the ball in their hands.
Mike White comes back in, swing pass to the far side. And it's Wales, and he's driven back. Lowering the shoulder didn't work this time.
That is pushed back by Jamal Jones.
Clock continues to run. 3 minutes, 45 seconds to go before halftime. White in the shotgun. Play action. Looks downfield. It's Fant. He's got a first down.
Nice pitch and catch there. Wise play. Fant getting out of bounds there. Even though the clock's not too big of a factor yet, it is starting to get that way. As actually they're going to go ahead and roll the clock. But one thing I've noticed, Jake, about this Western Kentucky offense, and MTSU as well to an extent, but Western Kentucky, even though they're a no-huddle offense, they appear to be a hurry-up offense. A lot of times, even though they'll get to the line quickly, they actually will let the play clock run down a bit.
White looks for the screen pass, steps up in the pocket, evades a couple of tacklers, and down he goes.
White scrambling. A loss of 2 on the play with the change.
So great pressure from the Middle Tennessee defense. And that's going to be the first sack on the day for the Blue Raiders.
Well, not just the first sack, that's really the first, that I can remember, first hurry of the day, period. It's one thing we talked about, MTSU, what they've got to do better is the defense. They've just got to get to the quarterback. Mike White, you can't let it be 7-on-7 football. You've got to get some pressure on him, and that time, they were able to do so.
White looking downfield, has Fant again, his 4th catch. He's driven out of bounds at the 50-yard line, pickup of about 10. Fant now has 4 catches.
Just seems like he's the guy who always finds a crack in the defense, always finds, an open area to get to. And Mike White sure knows that, as I believe you said, it's his 4th catch of the ball game. And into the game comes Kylan Towner. This guy, he's not the stoutest or the tallest of guys out there. But boy, if they can get the ball in his hands, he can make something happen.
Late substitution for the Raiders. Towner in motion. Handoff up the middle. And it's going to be good for a Hilltopper first down.
As they cross midfield right there. Western Kentucky, once again, very rhythmic and very, very much in rhythm on this drive.
It's Quentin Baker picking up the first down as White looking downfield. Touchdown Toppers. Tawan Taylor with his 5th touchdown catch on the year and a beautiful throw from Mike White. Oh my.
There's one guy on this defense that you can't let beat you. It's Tawan Taylor. 6'1", 195. He's a threat at any point in the game, at any point on the field. That time he goes deep. Mike White connects for 6 points.
So Western takes the lead 16-13, and we've got, looked like the Raiders jumped on the point after attempt.
On the kicking team, number 79.
So
5-yard
that's the second
penalty.
false start on point after attempts for the Hilltoppers.
So they haven't been able to get their return guys going. They either botched a fake field goal or messed up a field goal attempt earlier, and now they've had 2 consecutive touchdown drives that have ended with the extra point being a false start. Not going so well right now for the special teams unit.
Kick from Simcox is up and good. Western Kentucky opens up a 4-point lead on the Raiders. A 6-play, 72-yard drive. 45-yard touchdown pass from Mike White to Tawan Taylor. And the Toppers are in control just before halftime right here on ESPN3. And we're actually going to keep it here. And the throw from Mike White at the time, at least from our angle, looked like he was going to find Taylor in stride, but Taylor actually had to go up and fight with the defender for that ball. And Tawan Taylor, only 6'1", so it's not like he's Randy Moss out there. He's not 6'4", but went up over the defender and made a spectacular catch in the end zone.
Yeah, that's one when Mike White goes back and looks at the film probably tomorrow. You know, that's one where he goes, hey, you got me right there. I appreciate that when you picked me up, because he was open. He found the right receiver. He kind of let the defense catch up to him right there, and that's one where if he hits in stride, it's easy. Made him struggle for it, but Taylor ended up making the catch anyways.
And Mike White certainly had a ton of time to make that throw. Western kicks off to middle, and this is going to be downed in the end zone for a touchback.
And the touchback. Bring it out to the
By Terrell West. So let's see what Brent Stockstill and company can do with 1 minute and 45 seconds as the Raiders trail the Hilltoppers 17-13 here in Murfreesboro.
And with 1:46 to go before we hit the half, you know, this is a situation where having an up-tempo offense, having an offense where you're Stockstill, where you're out of the shotgun, 95% of the time, this really helps you. Because now you can go 5 wide and you can kind of hurry up, and you're not really out of your usual routine offensively.
Stockstill, quick pass. Itavius Mathers turns it back upfield, makes one man miss, stays. No, he did get out of bounds. Looked like his knee hit inbounds, just shy of a first down.
Always got to be conscious that in college it does stop for a first down until they can get the ball spotted, so that's very advantageous for whoever's on offense.
Stockstill working quickly, hand off to Mathers. He's got room up the middle on the draw play. Shimmy shake and a first down at midfield for the Blue Raiders.
Just into Western Kentucky territory goes Itavius Mathers, and he is just so consistent all throughout this game. He has been there, and anytime I think they caught him off guard, I think Western Kentucky thought it was going to be a pass play, and I can completely understand why they would think that. Nice call there from the offensive coordinator, and MTSU looking like they might be in business.
Tony Franklin at the controls for the Blue Raider offense. Another draw play for Mathers. No, it's a flea flicker. Stockstill. Down he goes.
Yeah, they got holding, I believe, on defense, though.
There is a penalty flag down in the defensive secondary.
As it looked like for MTSU, that was number 3, Richie James, the talented redshirt sophomore. It looked like he was held up. They almost had a route where 2 receivers were kind of crossing.
And that's what the call is going to be.
I saw a jersey tug, and Richie James still ended up getting open, but by the time he was able to get open, Stockstill had already gone down. 1:04 to go here, Jake. What are you calling right here? On a first down, do you try another draw right here?
Shouldn't
with
I
Mathers?
be asking you that? You could go for another draw, yeah, sure. 1:04 to go.
I think
4 wide, Mathers in the backfield.
I think I'd probably keep this one on the air, though. You do have some timeouts, though, if you need it.
Both teams have all 3 timeouts remaining. Mathers in motion. Stockstill looking downfield, dances in the pocket, and it's dropped. Looked like he was going to throw it away, but Mathers was there on the near sideline and in and out of his hands. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Raiders.
Great protection. Once again, we've been saying it all game for both offenses, but great protection that time. Even better defense, though, from Western Kentucky. They finally let a man slip open really late in Mathers, but he wasn't able to hold on to the ball.
And Brent Stockstill had all day to throw, but as you mentioned, great coverage by the Hilltoppers secondary. Here comes the rush. Stockstill steps up, and across the middle, it's going to be caught by Isaiah Upton. Just his 6th catch on the year, his first today, and the Raiders are going to have to burn a timeout. So 39 seconds to go. Western Kentucky leads thanks to the touchdown by Tawan Taylor on the last drive. Alongside Alex Myers and Sarah Cardona, I'm Jake Rose. This is the 66th meeting between these two teams, and this rivalry dates back all the way prior to the old Ohio Valley Conference days, back when these teams were in Division I AA, and now in modern-day Conference USA. It is the best rivalry in the conference.
I believe the next closest rivalry is at 47 games, and I believe that's between, I think, Southern Miss and Louisiana Tech. So you look at, well, this is the 19th, so that's a 19-game difference after today's matchup. So once historic rivalry, and as you said, longest-running rivalry between these two teams.
And as the name of the rivalry, 100 Miles of Hate, alludes to, just 100 miles between the two cities of Bowling Green, Kentucky and Murfreesboro, Tennessee. So a nice contingency of Western Kentucky fans here at Floyd Stadium. Toss right to Mathers. He's got a little bit of room on the right side, but he's tripped up on the near sideline by the man that they call Iggy.
And that's another Blue Raider.
That's Joel Iyebuniwe. We will now call him Iggy for the rest of the game, I promise you. Stockstill back to pass, throws downfield. Richie James! Touchdown, Blue Raiders! What a throw from Brent Stockstill. And the Raiders strike back with 31 seconds left in the first half.
Excellent play from Stockstill. He just kind of lobbed it up. You don't have to be perfect as a quarterback. Some people think you've got to be the most accurate quarterback. That was a great throw, no doubt. But you've got to give your thing. I think one of the most important parts of being a quarterback is you've got to give your guy, your playmakers, a chance to make a play. He certainly did that times. He lofted it up. And if we can see. Now I'm going to continue to talk about the play after the extra point attempt here in just a second.
16th touchdown pass on the year for Brent Stockstill, and the 4th touchdown catch by Richie James, and that is one prolific, dynamic passing duo that the Blue Raiders have.
And they're going to have them for a couple more years. Just sophomores, still got about half the season left, and they got 2 full seasons together over the next couple of years. I don't know if we can see that replay one more time, but I've noticed Richie James doing this, and even on passes where he hasn't been able to connect from Stockstill, when Stockstill throws it, Richie James is about even with the defender. There's really no separation, but as soon as he sees the ball's up, he almost as a defensive end would do, kind of pulls a little swim move with very little contact and just creates just enough separation between him and the defender, defensive back, and he's able to haul the touchdown in. That's what separates, some wide receivers from the really good ones. It's little things like that, little tweaks in your game to be able to get you open when there's tough coverage on.
Richie James' game is certainly one of finesse, and we saw it perfectly exhibited on that touchdown catch as the Raiders take the lead 20-17. 6 plays, 75 yards, just a minute and 15 seconds. And the big play on that drive was the draw play to Itavius Mathers. They got the Blue Raiders in Hilltopper territory. So just 31 seconds to go in the first half. Rooker, another loft kickoff attempt. This one taken at about the 22. Fant is going to get brought down about the 32-yard line. 27 seconds to go. So let's see what the Hilltoppers decide to do with 3 timeouts and a 3-point deficit with 27 seconds before halftime.
Yeah, with as little pressure as MTSU has been able to get on Mike White standing back there at quarterback, you wonder, and I believe they've got all 3 timeouts, indeed they do, you wonder if they might try something here on first down, and if it gets them a nice pickup, they might pick up the pace, and maybe if it's an incomplete pass, they might try to run out the clock. Certainly interesting to see what they choose to do here, but going with, 4 wideouts, it certainly looks like they're going to try to see what they can do here.
White drops back, has time to throw, goes far sideline, and nice open field tackling.
On the catch, Nicholas Norris.
Clock is going to be
And
stopped.
that was Darrell Randolph for the Blue Raiders making the stop. As Nicholas Norris hauled in the catch. 20 seconds to go. White drops back. Looks to his left, fires towards the near sideline. And Fant, did he come down with it? Yes, he did.
And I believe he's out of bounds, too. Certainly he is. So now, if you're Western Kentucky, You're across midfield after that play. It's first down. You've got 8 seconds left. As the clock is still running, they might have to put a little time back on there. With 3 timeouts, you obviously are not probably going to be able to use all 3, but certainly try to do something.
And they're going to reset the game clock to 14 seconds. As there is a timeout on the field.
That's huge,
or is
though.
there?
Well, he was out of bounds, so the clock has stopped regardless.
I think Middle Tennessee thought that the play was... There we go. I think Middle Tennessee originally thought that that's what the officials were getting together for, was to talk about a review, and we're going to have that review. So 14 seconds left. Raiders lead 20-17 over the Hilltoppers. Minute and 15-second drive. And the Richie James touchdown catch has given the Raiders the lead. Immediately after the Taiwan Taylor touchdown catch from the Toppers just a couple minutes ago.
This is a big call right here. The play stands, especially since they added about 7-8 seconds back on the clock. Now it's at 14. This play stands, and you've got first and down from the Middle Tennessee 49-yard line or so. The play stands. You've now got a chance really to run 2 plays, call a timeout, and kick a field goal, since you do have all 3 timeouts remaining. So this is a real opportunity if you're Coach Jeff Brom and the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. On the other side, if you're Middle Tennessee, you really look to get some pressure, because a sack almost definitely ends the half here.
Skylar Simcox, the field goal kicker for Western Kentucky, did knock in a 41-yarder earlier today, getting the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers on the board. And he does have a long this season of 50 yards, so he is capable of hitting from distance if the Toppers can get within range.
You've got to be conscious of that. Be aware if you're an MTSU defender, especially a defensive back. Now, obviously, you cannot get beat over the top. That's the one thing you can't do. But you also, if you can do that, you also want to kind of press up a little bit, because you don't want to, play complete prevent here, Jake, and allow a 15, 20-yard opening, because kicker has shown he has the ability to knock them home from deep. So it's a tough situation if you're Middle Tennessee, but it all really depends on what the call is right here. So hopefully we'll find out momentarily, and things will be cleared up just a little bit.
And it looks as if the call will stand. It's going to be first down for the Hilltoppers at the Blue Raider 49-yard line. 14 seconds to go. Toppers have 3 timeouts left.
Only rushing 3.
White rolling to his right, looking downfield. He's going to keep it. He's across the 40 at the 35-yard line of Middle Tennessee.
White, not a guy who you really think of as a true dual threat. He will take it, keep it every now and then, but he's a guy who's much more comfortable passing. And it looks like with 6 seconds, they're not going to risk another play.
And with 6 seconds, Skylar Simcox will trot onto the field and try and tie this game up before halftime.
I believe, if my math is correct, which often isn't, but I believe this would be as long for the year right here.
Jake Collins will have
52 yards, 3 yards.
Hold is good. The kick is up. And it's good.
I've been good for about 56 right there.
Skylar Simcox bangs home the 50-plus yarder, a career long. And we are tied going into halftime.
Shootout right now. It's coming that way. 20 all time.
So after the first quarter, both teams only put up 3 points, but at halftime. Welcome back to Murfreesboro, where we are locked up in a tight one, tied at 20 apiece between the Hilltoppers and Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders. Alex, great first half. Not the shootout that we thought we were going to get exactly in the first quarter. Second quarter, 17 points each for each team. But this is not the only game we have going on around the country today. Let's take a quick look at what's going on in the world of college football.
I know. Saw on my phone earlier. We upset just a few miles up the road in Nashville. Vanderbilt with the 17-16 victory over Georgia. That pretty much shatters any hopes that Georgia had to get back into the SEC race.
Right, and Vanderbilt is one thing that these two teams also have in common. Vanderbilt, the Commodores, also knocking off both of these two teams that are playing here today. Just a couple weeks ago, Middle Tennessee fell in a rain-soaked game that was lengthened by a thunderstorm warning, and then Western Kentucky fell by 1 point in overtime just a couple weeks ago. Also, another big game going on in the state of Tennessee today at 2:30. The Tennessee Vols host #1 Alabama in the third week in October.
Yeah, that's a huge game. Especially since Tennessee lost, it might not have the same implications. But we're going to go ahead and look around the nation right now.
Number 14, Florida State is scoreless with Wake Forest in the first quarter, as well as Miami and North Carolina. North Carolina just scored 3-0 in the first quarter. A little ACC action going on there. And the Big 12, number 11 Baylor up 14-0 over the Jayhawks of Kansas. In the MAC, get some action in on your Saturday. Western Michigan up 14-0 on the Zips of Akron. And maybe a surprising team a little bit, the number 10 Cornhuskers of Nebraska up 3-0 over the Hoosiers of Indiana. And in Conference USA, La Tech taking on UMass, who's actually in the American Conference. And as we mentioned earlier, the big game today, the Crimson Tide, number 1 Alabama, taking on the Vols in Knoxville. So that's a quick look around the top 25 and the college football world here at halftime. We're tied at 20 between the Hilltoppers and Blue Raiders. Welcome back to Johnny Red Floyd Stadium here on the campus of Middle Tennessee State University, where the host Blue Raiders on their homecoming are tied at 20 with the Hilltoppers, their arch rival of Western Kentucky, alongside Alex Myers. I'm Jake Rose, and Alex, the first quarter, just 2 field goals apiece, a lot of sloppy play, especially on special teams, something that we talked about being a big issue in this game for Middle Tennessee. Turns out to be a big issue for Western Kentucky on what looked like a failed fake field goal attempt.
Yeah, it was hard to tell. If it looked like a fake field goal, both of us thought that. And as we're going to go ahead and look at the stats a little bit, though, but special teams certainly have been an issue early on for Western Kentucky.
So the first quarter wasn't a shootout, but the second quarter, 34 combined points, 17 for each team. As you take a look at the total yards there, 251 for the Blue Raiders, 263 for the Hilltoppers. But you look at the rushing yards, up until about halfway through the second quarter, Western Kentucky had nothing. But then a heavy dose of the Hilltopper running game really got them back in this one.
Yeah, Wells is a guy who we know he was talented. We knew he was talented coming into the ball game. Didn't see a ton of him in the first quarter. When we did, he wasn't very productive. The offensive line improved in the second quarter, and he did as well, really finishing off runs strong, running over defenders, and in the end, helping this offense get back on track.
And you look at the passing yards, they're pretty close. Slight advantage for Mike White and the Hilltoppers. Both quarterbacks being very, very efficient today, but also not seeing a lot of pressure, both just being sacked one time and both not really facing much of a blitz.
And that's I think if you're either defense on at halftime, what your main improvement, you just got to say, we've got to get the pressure on the quarterback to make it more difficult.
All right, we're tied at 20 at halftime. We've got kickoff for the second half coming up next right here on ESPN3. About a minute and a half away from kickoff to the second half alongside Alex Myers. I'm Jake Rose. Thank you so much for joining us today on ESPN3, a very special broadcast. And Alex, taking a look at some second half keys to the game. Western Kentucky did a nice job of getting the running game going in that second quarter with Anthony Wales. But how are they going to do it in the second half?
Well, I think they're going to continue to set up the run through the pass. We all know how effective this offense is through the air, and that really opens up lanes in the running game. And it works vice versa. Once you get the running game going, then the passing lanes open up a little bit more. So I think you're going to continue to see a heavy dose of through the air action from quarterback number 14, Mike White. And I think that will continue to help set up the run. And especially if Western Kentucky, if this can break open a little bit one way or the other and they're able to get the lead, then certainly I think they're going to really lean on Wales late in the ballgame if they do have the lead at that point.
Just about 20 seconds away from kickoff. Beautiful day here in the mid-state, and a perfect day for college football. This the third Saturday in October.
That's a beautiful shot.
Alan Simcox will kick away to get the second half underway.
And that is the on-field view here at Johnny Red Floyd Stadium on the campus of Middle Tennessee State University. And from our vantage point, the rolling hills of Middle Tennessee, absolutely beautiful vista.
Make the kicker, Alex Granella.
Western Kentucky is set to kick off to Middle Tennessee. And we are underway here in the second half.
Will we get our first return of the day?
Granella kicked through the end zone for the touchdown.
As Terrell West is run out of bounds on the kickoff from Alex Ranella.
Been the first one for MTSU, as Western Kentucky hasn't really gotten what they've wanted from a return yet, but they have had a couple of opportunities from swift kicks and things of that nature. For Brent Stockstill, coming out here looking to stay in a rhythm in the first half. Their offensive line did a terrific job, especially in the second quarter, setting up the run and the pass. We'll look for that to continue here.
Quick swing pass around the right side. Richie James has got room, cuts back to the inside, and is tripped up by Brendan Leston at about the 49-yard line, and the Blue Raider offense firing early here in the second half.
Redshirt sophomore out of Sarasota, Florida. Riverview High School is Richie James, and once he gets a little open space, he can absolutely turn on the burners.
Quick pass to Ty Lee on the right sideline. And the Blue Raider offense really moving quickly on their first two plays here in the second half. And that's good enough for another Blue Raider first down.
Just like that, they're on the move and in opposing territory as the ball is set up just at the 40-yard line, 1st and 10.
And that's Ty Lee's first catch. 4 wide for the Blue Raiders. Nickel set for the Hilltoppers. Busted play, and down goes Brent Stockstill. He'll be knocked down just shy of the line of scrimmage. He says, "That's my bad."
You can see he took ownership right there, and really, he's got a ton of experience. But just about halfway through his redshirt sophomore season, still a lot of things and a lot of time for Stockstill to develop, not only as a player but as a leader on this team, and taking ownership for your bad plays right there. That's certainly one way to do that.
Stockstill drops back. And that was almost intercepted off the hands of Richie James, and the deflection went long and was almost picked off by Joe Brown, who's seeing his first action today. He was ineligible for the first half after a targeting call in the second half against Louisiana Tech last week.
And he's a difference maker. He's slated as their starting cornerback, and like you said, he missed the first half, so see if they kind of lock that side down now.
Another screen pass to the quick swing pass on the near sideline to Mathers is long, and that's going to be 4th down for the Raiders. So what looked like it was going to be a somewhat successful drive stalls once the Raiders get into Hilltopper territory.
Interesting on that drive. You said it kind of stalled out, but Octavius Mathers, just the stud for MTSU, didn't get a touch on that drive. I'd like to see that change if I'm a Blue Raider fan. Certainly, I'm sure next drive they will try to get him going here once again in the second half.
High towering punt Fair catch called for
Fair
by
catch at the
Fant
14.
at about the 14-yard line. And that's where Mike White and the Hilltoppers will take over with 13:34 to go in the third quarter. And we're going to keep it here for you. So back and forth game in the first half. We mentioned the first quarter, not necessarily the most pretty brand of football, but that second quarter, that was fun.
That was highlight football. That's why these stands are filled up right now. You know, that's what people expected when they tuned into this broadcast today, Jake.
Handoff, Wales. He's going to be upended about the 22-yard line.
Handoff to Anthony Wales.
Once again, MTSU's defense right now getting behind the chains. First down, and now it's going to be second down and 8, or after a gain of 8 on first down, rather. It's
Alex
going to be
Dale,
second and 2.
the safety with the tackle. 2nd and 2.
Fant down here is trying to get something going. He's got press coverage, and it looked like he's trying to take advantage of that. We'll see if they go to him here.
Jeremy Cottrell lined up against Fant. Handoff to Wales. He cuts back. He's got enough for a first down stop just shy of the 30-yard line.
Chris Hale's defense.
Another good run right there by Wales. You talked about it at halftime. Really didn't get much going at all. Had 0 yards at the end of the first quarter, move into the second quarter, and he had just under 50 yards at halftime. He's picked up right where he left off here in the third quarter.
Wales 11 carries, 53 yards. Screen pass, far sideline. And it's going to be good enough for a first down as Taylor's got another catch.
His wide receivers are very well coached. And one thing that's a sure sign of that is once they catch the ball, they might do a little wiggle, a little juke move here or there to try to shake a defender. But once they do that, they get upfield and try to gain as many yards as they can. And right there, it results in a first down.
First down for the Toppers at about the 45-yard line. Play action. White looking downfield across the middle. What a catch! Tawan Taylor over the middle. Took the hit.
Taylor with the catch. First down.
He absorbed the full blow on that one.
And a beautiful throw from Mike White. And an even better catch from Tawan Taylor. In stride, perfect.
So impressive to me when a receiver knows that you're going to get hit really hard over the middle like that and still have enough concentration and maturity as a wideout to hang on to the ball.
Late substitution for the Raiders. Handoff to Wales around the right side. Stutter steps and goes down inside the 15 to the 13-yard line.
A little bit better job by the Blue Raider defense on first down right there, only giving up about 2. If they can get a similar play right here, they can be set themselves up with a pretty manageable third down defensively.
Second and about 7. Look at head coach Jeff Brom there in his 3rd season. Coached under Bobby Petrino at Louisville and at Western Kentucky for a time. Wales back up the middle, close to a first down, stopped at about the 6th.
He's one of the young, rising great minds, offensive minds in the nation throughout college football at whatever level. I mean, he's a guy who knows how to put up points and put yards on the board.
23-10 overall record during his 3-year tenure in Bowling Green. Handoff Wales right side, and the Raiders almost had him in the backfield, but he falls forward for a first down.
Yeah, I believe initially if the ball would have been spotted where they hit Wales, they would have been set for a 4th down. Wales kept turning, spun a little bit, and eventually fell forwards for the first down, and it's going to be 1st and goal at about the 4-yard line, and it looks like they're going to bring some beef in right here.
Shotgun formation for the Toppers. Play action. Fade route. And almost picked off. Charvarius Ward got both paws on it, wasn't able to corral it. And a short fade route that was looking to go to Tawan Taylor was knocked down by Ward, and it should have been an interception.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He had both hands on it. You all know that everybody knows the saying about defensive backs not being wide receivers, so I'll leave that one alone. But if you're going to miss, we talked about it earlier down here in the red zone, you got to miss long. Right there, he came up short, and quite frankly, he's lucky.
Shotgun. Steps up, lost it into the end zone. Touchdown Toppers. Shaquille Johnson, his second touchdown catch on the year. And the Toppers take a 26-20 lead here in Murfreesboro.
Shaquille Johnson, 6'4" senior from Lake City, Florida. He's a guy, he's a huge target. And boy, anybody in this stadium could have seen him. He was wide open right there. Nice finish to the drive for the Hilltoppers.
And we talked during the halftime show about not a lot of pressure getting to these quarterbacks. And Mike White had all day to find Shaquille Johnson in the back of the end zone. And the Toppers now have a touchdown lead over the Raiders. They lead 27-20 with 10 minutes to go. The strike as Mike White finds Shaquille Johnson in the back of the Blue Raider end zone. And the Toppers are back in the lead, 27-20 with 10:02 to go in the third quarter.
A lot of people like to recruit athletes, just football players in general, guys who know the game. Shaquille Johnson, the tight end who caught that right there, played cornerback and also tight end here in his time at Western Kentucky. He's a guy who's very versatile for the Hilltoppers.
9 plays, 86 yards, 3.5 minutes on that scoring drive for the Toppers. A 4-yard touchdown pass from Mike White to Shaquille Johnson. So the Blue Raiders looked great on the first few plays of their last drive to start the second half, but drive completely stalled on a few miscommunications on some swing passes and screen passes and resulted in a punt. Empty backfield for Stockstill. He's got Ty Lee at about the 30, and he's dragged down about the 32-yard line by Jason Johnson.
Ty Lee, he's a guy along with Richie James and Brent Stockstill who look to head this offense and get him going forward as we move forward in the next couple of years. Just a freshman, 2-time state champion. That's what you call a winner.
4 wide. Screen pass back to Lee. Cuts back to the inside, makes a man miss. He's at the 40, the 50, and into Hilltopper territory. A nice run and catch by Ty Lee. And the Raiders have a first down.
Just as we mentioned, him only 155 pounds. He's going to have to put on a little bit of weight as he ages here in college. Great block downfield we just saw right there from Dennis Andrews. The Georgia Tech transfer turned that from, a nice 10-yard gain to what it was.
And he absolutely put Brandon Leston on skates. Back to Ty Lee on the far sideline, trips over his own feet, or Desmond Anderson's feet anyway, and a pickup of just a couple. So 3 straight catches for Ty Lee. And as Isaiah Upton checks back in.
At what point do you get Itavius Mathers back into the ball game, get him in a little rhythm a little bit? I don't know that he's had a touch here in the second half. I wonder if you might go to him right here.
Mathers 9 carries, 59 yards, 3 catches for 18 yards. Stockstill. Blitz picked up. Stockstill rolls, finds a man across the middle, and it's Richie James, and Richie James takes a lick from Joe Brown. But it's good for a first down.
Way to improvise right there from the redshirt sophomore southpaw quarterback. And Stockstill kind of rolled around, and as we talked about earlier, it's hard to defend as a defensive back for that long, and he really improvised right there.
Hand off to Mathers, right side, tries to cut it back, nowhere to go. And the Hilltoppers trying to go after that football and create a turnover. Nowhere to go, 2nd and 10.
I mentioned earlier in the broadcast at the beginning, Middle Tennessee 4-1 on the season, 1-0 in conference play. Win would be huge not only because it's a rivalry game, but it keeps them atop the Conference USA standings.
3 wide to the top of your screen. Upton wide out at the bottom. Mathers in the backfield. Stockstill goes to Upton near sideline, and Upton will be dragged down just shy of the 30 by Ben Holt.
It's a nice tunnel screen play set up right there. You had the center for MTSU. If you see him out here, number 66, just pancaked a guy right out in front of the play right there. Nice use of athleticism. Linemen aren't guys who can just block up front anymore. These are guys who can get out on the edge and create some space.
James in motion. Stockstill's going to keep it. Quarterback draw up the middle. Picks up about 5 on 3rd down. And he's going to be short of a 1st down. 4th down for the Blue Raiders. Maybe a decision time here for Rick Stockstill.
I believe so. He's certainly thinking about it, and I believe he is indeed going to keep the offense out here. If I'm MTSU, you've had a lot of success with short swing passes, but you've also got Mathers in there. It's going to be a pass or a quarterback draw because Mathers is lined up as a slot receiver.
Empty backfield for Stockstill. 1 for 4 on 4th down conversions, and they're going to burn a timeout with 6:11 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Raiders driving, and they've got the decision of whether or not they want to go for it on 4th and 2, trailing 27-20 to their arch rival Western Kentucky. Alongside Alex Myers, I'm Jake Rose. Sarah Cardona is on the sideline with us today. Thank you so much for joining us on ESPN. Rick Stockstill had a decision to make on 4th and 2, and he makes the call to send his offense back out onto the field.
Notice Artavius Mathers is in the backfield on this play.
Hand off to Mathers up the middle. Stuffed.
It's going to be close. I don't believe he got it.
The Hilltoppers front 4 certainly motioned as if they had stopped Octavius Mathers, and they sure did. Nowhere to go, as Derek Overstreet was in there with Omarius Bryant, and a huge turnover for the Blue Raiders in their own territory. Toppers take over with a 7-point lead and 6 minutes to go here in the 3rd.
And if you're Western Kentucky right here, this has got a chance to be a real swing drive in this ball game. You got a chance to really take some control of this ball game and go up by two possessions if you can get some points.
White under center for just the 2nd time today. Handoff right back up the middle to Anthony Wales. And Wales, the 195 redshirt senior, drives his way back up the middle for a 1st down.
Wales is a guy who, quite honestly, I think he's getting stronger as this game's gone on. He's not the biggest of guys down there, but he's got some stamina, and he, like I said, he looks like he's getting better as this game goes on.
16 carries, 80 yards. This is his 4th straight game with at least 80 yards and a touchdown. So 4 straight games of at least 80 yards and a touchdown, as he now has 95 yards. Handoff back to Wales up the middle and knocked down. Chris Melton with a stop.
Seems like one of the rare occasions where the Blue Raider defense has been able to get a nice stop on 1st down. It seems like so often this defense is facing 2nd and medium, 3rd and short, and now they get a chance to expand their playbook a little bit as they can finagle some things here with it being 2nd and long.
White in the shotgun, 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Drops back, looks over the middle. He's got his big target, Stevie Donatale, who actually, it's his 1st reception on the season. Actually picked up that squib kick back in the 1st half. So good to call Stevie Donatale's name a couple times today. Good for him.
3rd down upcoming here. They're 36, just over 36% on the season is Western Kentucky in 3rd down situations. 3rd down and medium here. MTSU faithful, the true blue faithful here at Floyd Stadium are standing on their feet.
Wales in the backfield. Throw across the middle, and it's going to be off the hands of Norris, and 4th down. And the Raiders defense makes a stand.
Much like the 1st half, Jake, we almost got a tale of 2 halves here between the game. The 1st quarter there was almost no scoring. 2nd quarter, 34 combined points, and then the second, and then come out here to start the 2nd half into the 3rd quarter, over halfway through now, and there's been no more points scored. Well, only 7 for Western Kentucky though.
Rugby style kick from Jake Collins. giving his hands team time to take it. Richie James is going to take it down the sideline at the 20. He's got a little bit of room and knocked down at the 35-yard line. Richie James, slick move to take the ball away.
It's one of those where as a coach you're saying no, 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 until he makes the play, and then you say yes, because he fielded that off to the side at about the 4-yard line. If he drops that.
And actually they're going to say it's down back at the 5-yard line because Richie James waved off his hands team. And once you do that, that is technically a fair catch.
Now, will that be
just for that reason right there. So.
Ruling on the field is the receiver to inbound a fair catch signal. The ball is dead at the spot. First down.
And if we get it. So the Raiders will take over at their own 4-yard line, trailing 27-20. Welcome back to Murfreesboro, where the Raiders will take over on their own 4-yard line. Richie James made a nifty move as he let the Jake Collins punt bounce at about the 10, but he fielded it on the run, and the officials are saying that he waved a fair catch, and he put his hands out, but he did not actually wave off his own hands team. So that's a tough break for the Blue Raiders.
Controversial nonetheless.
It certainly looked like from our vantage point that he did wave off. Stockstill goes downfield, looks for Richie James, and thrown behind him and knocked away by Joe Brown. But back to the punt play. From our vantage point, it looked like when he put his hands out, he was waving no, but the replay clearly showed that he did not. So a bad break for the Blue Raiders. 2nd and 10 inside their own 5-yard line.
And one deep safety right here for Western Kentucky.
Stockstill drops back, across the middle, and it's going to be good enough for a first down as Dennis Andrews makes the catch at about the 19-yard line.
Now, I'm a guy who wants to come after the quarterback. And, I'm no coach or anything, but I'm a guy who wants to come after the quarterback when you're deep in their own territory like that. And right there, I think you just got to try to, put a little more pressure on the wideouts and a little more pressure on the quarterback to try to force a turnover right there.
Haven't seen a lot of pressure on either quarterback, really. Just 1 sack recorded in this game. Back in the 2nd quarter, Michael White was brought down just before halftime on the Toppers' final drive. 2nd and 9. Stockstill fires across the middle. Richie James, spin move, brought down at the 25-yard line. It'll be about second and 4.
Brought the middle linebacker on the blitz for the Hilltoppers that time, and although they didn't get a sack or anything, it gives Stockstill a little bump at the end of the play, and that kind of stuff will start to get in the quarterback's head. So even though you didn't get the sack, you still got to the quarterback and made him feel it a little bit.
Stockstill has not been sacked yet. 2:25 to go here in the 3rd. Low snap. Stockstill fires across the middle, and Richie James gets laid out, but not before picking up a first down. And Richie James was looking for a targeting call against Juwan Gardner, but he's not going to get it.
The only targeting going on is Brent Stockstill targeting Richie James here in this ball game, and he is one tough guy. He's taken a few shots, but he's gotten up every time.
Raiders moving quickly. Swing pass to Lee. Near sideline. Lee tries to turn it up and does. Good enough for another first down.
Once again, that play's even, extended even further by the great downfield blocking of this wide receiver unit that time for the Blue Raiders.
This wide receiver unit very banged up. Demetrius Frazier out for the year. Shane Tucker and Terry Pettis also banged up. So Demetrius, as we mentioned, Demetrius Frazier hurt his knee in the season opener against Alabama A&M. Desmond Anderson has moved from the running back position in fall camp to wide receiver.
Terrell West now into the game after Mathers is going to take a breather. Terrell West, the 5'10" redshirt freshman at 186 pounds. his all-time leading rusher at his high school.
Just 3 carries today. Now 4. And brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Julian Lewis.
And promptly comes Itavius Mathers right back into the game. But I'm not going to put that one on West, though. There was really nowhere to go with that.
Not a lot of push up front by the Blue Raider front line.
3 down linemen look right here from Western Kentucky. They're a team that likes to go with 4 most of the time. They're going to go with 3 down linemen here. Let's see if they bring any more pressure or just kind of let Stockstill go back there.
3rd and long for middle. Stockstill drops back in the pocket. Here comes the rush. Gets away from it. Eludes it again. Heaves it up towards the middle of the field. Ty Lee. Shades of Eli Manning and David Tyree.
I thought Shirley was going to be picked off. He lopped it up there. There was nothing but white jerseys, and one little blue jersey went up there and made a play. Terrific.
It's a drive saver. Quick swing pass to Richie James on the far sideline. Does a little pirouette out of bounds, and it's 2nd down. Amazing athleticism by Brent Stockstill. Not sure it was a great decision to actually make that throw, but luckily for the Blue Raiders, Ty Lee was able to come down with it and pick up a 1st down. And after 3, the Hilltoppers lead 27-20 here in Murfreesboro. Stay with us. We've got a great Conference USA rivalry brewing right here in the Mid-State on ESPN3. 15 minutes left in the 100 Miles of Hate rivalry game here in Murfreesboro. Toppers lead the Raiders 27-20. Stockstill drops back. Rush coming. Finds Mathers near sideline. And just sneaks inside the 40-yard line to the 38. Toppers coming with the blitz that time against Brent Stockstill. One of the few times that Stockstill has been hurried today.
Stockstill now 29 for 37 on the afternoon.
312 yards, 1 touchdown. That was to Richie James back in the 2nd quarter. His 16th touchdown pass on the season. Trips to the right, Mathers in the backfield. Screen pass to Richie James. James shimmy shakes. He's got room. He's at the 20, the 10. Touchdown, Richie James. Just like that, the Raiders are right back in it.
Starting off the 4th quarter with an absolute bang. No pun intended, as we see the fireworks going off in the background. What a play. Let's watch this right here. Great block. Just gets enough contact to where he can free Richie James to go all the way down the field and score that touchdown. An extra point pending. This is going to be a tie ball game.
That was Ty Lee, the true freshman from Moultrie, Georgia. We are knotted up at 27 here in the Borough. What a ball game. Raiders looking to stay undefeated in conference play, while the Hilltoppers are trying to get a game above 500 as they sit 3-3 on the season.
With no points before that touchdown, there have been no points scored from Middle Tennessee all half, all throughout the whole 3rd quarter. The fans here had almost been lulled to sleep a little bit. This place had gone a little bit quiet, and all of a sudden, fans are standing on their feet. Some of them are. They're back in the ball game. There's a renewed energy you feel throughout this stadium right now, and let's see if the Blue Raiders defense can transition that into maybe a 3-and-out here. It's going to be tough, though. This is still a very potent West Kentucky offense. But first things first, you got to kick this ball off and make sure, if at all possible, you keep it out of the hands of the returners.
So a 38-yard Screen pass goes the distance for the Blue Raiders to tie this one up. 12 plays, 96 yards. And 4 minutes and 48 seconds as Cannon Rooker blasts this one to the end zone. And we're actually going to have a kick return. As Kylan Towner gets it back to the 20-yard line, just itching to get a crack at a long return there. 14 minutes to go, just over 14 minutes to go. Alongside Alex Myers and Sarah Cardona, I'm Jake Rose. Thank you so much for spending your Saturday afternoon with us here in beautiful Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Got a great game for you here today.
Great view from up here. You talk about beautiful afternoon. As you mentioned earlier, you can see the rolling hills in the background as the sun's starting to ever so slowly go down. The wind is blowing down on the field. You can see a little bit. Just a great afternoon to be outside. Nonetheless, at a great ball game, a highly contested one like this one.
Ben Holt, who has seen time on both sides of the ball, was offset in the backfield for the Hilltoppers, the redshirt freshman from right there in Bowling Green, Kentucky, number 44. As the handoff to Wales goes nowhere. Bit of a jumbo set there as Shaquille Johnson, who caught a touchdown pass in the second quarter, is still in. White in the shotgun for Western. Wales in motion. White across the middle and behind Macarius Fant. Third down and long.
Now Wales is having a conversation over there with head coach Jeff Brom after that play. They didn't like something about that play. As he started to go in motion at the beginning of that play, he and another offensive coach started jumping up and down, waving their hands. I thought they might call a timeout, but they let the play go on and it ended up being an incompletion. Let's see if they get that fixed right here.
Blue Raider faithful on their feet here at Floyd Stadium. Blue Raiders defense shifting. White drops back. Off his back foot, overthrows, fourth down.
For one of the first times all afternoon, they got pressure, did the Blue Raider defense, and look what happened, Jake. A great result, forced a bad pass, and an incompletion, and that's a 3 and out.
So for just the second time today, Jake Collins, the rugby-style punter, who is actually on the 2016 list for the Ray Guy Award, the watch list anyway, stands in. Line drive, rugby-style punt. James will let it bounce, and he will not field it, and it'll be downed at the 30-yard line by Kylan Towner. So we're still tied at 27 apiece here in the Borough with 13-18 to go in the fourth quarter. So just 3 plays on the last Western Kentucky drive resulted in 1 yard and only 55 seconds of clock being used. And the Blue Raiders take over. Swing pass, Richie James, far sideline. Richie James gets out of a mess, still going. Boy, he is something fun to watch, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's like he's lubricated with something out there, you know, butter or something. You get your hands on him, and these guys somehow slips out of another tackle. And my goodness, he is just so hard to bring down.
Hand off to Mathers, and there's going to be a flag, and Britt Stockstill was roughed up behind the line of scrimmage after the handoff to Mathers. It's going to be a personal foul.
Piece number 9, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Very, very silly play there from Omaris Bryant.
And all of a sudden, with that turn of events right there, MTSU getting the score, getting to 3 and out, and then a big time, kind of a bonehead penalty from Western Kentucky's defense. You move into Western Kentucky territory as an offense right now, and right now the momentum sort of feel a momentum shift right here, and it feels like it's going MTSU's way. We'll see if they can keep this drive going.
Western Kentucky averages almost 7 penalties a game. Screen pass. Inside, it's going to be Patrick Smith, shake and bake inside the 30-yard line, and the Blue Raider offense is on the move yet again.
Patrick Smith is a guy who can make some plays for you too at the X position. Only 6 feet tall, didn't play last season, so his return has been very welcome back, especially at the wide receiving corps. It's kind of depleted.
Screen pass, Ty Lee looking to get to the outside, back to the inside, and he is stuffed by Keith Brown, the middle linebacker.
Keith Brown led the team for 4 straight games with 11 tackles earlier this season. You know, he's a guy who's going to be around the ball a lot throughout the game.
Brown, another transfer from Louisville. Terrell West now in the backfield for Mathers. Fake draw, far sideline.
Going to bring up looks like a 3rd and short, and look who's coming back into the game. Charting onto the field is number 4, Itavius Mathers. You got to think that he could be a key cog in this offense right here on 3rd and short.
Javonte Smith's first catch is just shy of a first down. 3rd and short from about the 17-yard line, and Stockstill will check with his sideline, get the call. Toppers really need to stop here.
And 3-down lineman once again.
Play action. Picked off. In and out of the hands of Desmond Anderson. Down the sideline. Keith Brown. An unbelievable turn of events.
Stockstill that he got blocked and was able to make the shoelace tackle right there. Just a terrific play, though, from Brown.
Screen pass to Desmond Anderson goes in and out of his hands and right into the breadbasket of Keith Brown, who had just made the tackle on the previous play. Brown rumbles and stumbles down the near sideline.
It's a big guy running with the football right there. That's not a guy I'd want to tackle. Certainly Brent Stockstill barely able to get a shoelace right there.
6'3", 210. Graduate student from Miami, Florida. White takes over. Far sideline. Finds Fant, and Fant has a first down before being shoved out of bounds by Charvarius Ward.
It's going to be enough for a first down. And just like that, Western Kentucky, they're in business deep, deep in the heart of Blue Raider territory.
White checks with the sideline. 3 receivers set. Quentin Baker in the backfield. Hand off to Baker. He goes up the middle and will fall inside the red zone to about the 19-yard line. Pickup of about 4.
Corner up top has got to be careful, because as soon as they showed the motion that they were going to hand the ball off, corner up top for MTSU bit down and almost made the tackle, but you've got to be weary of the play action pass right here, because if that would have been one right there, that would have been 6 points for the Hilltoppers.
3 wide again for the Hilltoppers. Baker offset to the left this time as White is in the shotgun. White steps back. Blitz coming. Fumble! Who's going to come up with it? It's Quentin Baker all the way back at the Hilltopper 45, 46-yard line.
Got an MTSU coach livid that they didn't just fall on the ball right there as well as your offense is moving the ball. Nonetheless, though, a great turn of events. If you're a Blue Raider fan, still a missed opportunity. You could have possession right now, but certainly in a much better situation right now. Well, you got about 1.5 miles to gain for this first down.
Jamal McBride, number 99, tried to pick it up after Raynard Felton, the left defensive tackle for the Blue Raiders, stripped Mike White. Wasn't able to come up with it, but Quentin Baker was Johnny on the spot for the Toppers. 3rd and 40.
Don't hear that every day.
Raiders very much in a prevent defense. Screen pass. Taylor. Near sideline. Shakes. Leaps. And brought down by Javonte Moffitt.
I mentioned that I'm not a huge fan of the prevent defense. You know, you don't give up the touchdown, certainly, but, you know, now you're realistically, you're back in field goal range right there when, you know, even if you give up 5 or 10, 15 yards right there, Western Kentucky's going to have to bring out the punter. But instead, you give up 3 points if they make this right here, and you've then given up the lead when, in my opinion, you don't prevent quite so much.
49-yard attempt for Simcox, trying to give the Toppers the lead. Kick is up.
He's close.
Short. Short and wide to the right. So we're still tied here in the Borough at 12. What a ball game we have going on in Murfreesboro, Tennessee on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Two fierce conference rivals duking it out on homecoming here on the campus of Middle Tennessee, tied at 27. Stockstill looking downfield, overthrows Ty Lee on the near sideline.
Yeah, try to get him with a simple back shoulder throw right there to Lee. Lee not quite that tall though, but if you're going to miss, it's better to miss high and outside than low and or inside if you're Stockstill. Tie ball game right here, Jake. You'd love to go down and get 7, but if you can get 3, that's still huge at this point in the ball game.
Mathers on the draw play, near sideline. He's at the 40, 50, breaks a couple of tackles, past midfield, and inside the 30. Beautiful run by Tavius Mathers, and the Raiders are in business.
The I train, as some have dubbed it, is rolling here in the second half, and all of a sudden MTSU is in scoring range, and as long as you don't, well, do what Western Kentucky did last possession, in all likelihood, even if you can't get a first down, you'll be in field goal range.
And as soon as he got off the turf, Mathers hustled over to the Blue Raider bench, shaken up, getting tended to by the trainers. And it's going to be Terrell West with a nice carry on the left sideline on the read play.
West getting up north and south right there as he turned upfield for probably his best carry of the ball game. Nice to have a back like that who can come in and spell your stud back there in Mathers.
4 receivers, West in the backfield. Read play again. And West will be dropped behind the line of scrimmage, just shy of the 20-yard line. You're really proud of that West north-south punt, aren't you?
No, I'm absolutely proud of it.
How long have you been sitting on that one?
It just popped in my head, but I'll take credit. 3rd and short here. With Mathers out of the game, this is likely a scenario where Stockstill's going to have to make a play. They're probably going to leave it into the hands of their star redshirt sophomore quarterback.
3rd and 4, clock ticking, 6 minutes, 20 seconds to go here in the 4th quarter. Stockstill back to pass. Here comes the blitz. Looking for Richie James. He's got him close to a first down. Is he there?
I think they're going to give it to him with forward progress.
And they will. They are going to say that Richie James was stopped at the 15-yard line. That would just sets up a Blue Raider first down on a big 3rd down conversion for Middle Tennessee.
James well into double digits now and catches on the day. Over 150 yards. The guy is balling out here on a Saturday afternoon.
Screen pass, far sideline. Couple of pump fakes from Stockstill. Raiders pick up a couple.
And Jake, we'll have to get confirmation on this, but I believe we're getting told now that was Richie James' school record. I think it was his 15th catch on the afternoon. So we talked about well into double digits. Like I said, we'll have to get confirmation on that, but he is absolutely tearing it up this afternoon.
I can confirm that for you right here. He actually set a school record against Vanderbilt a couple weeks ago with 14 receptions. So his 15th right there on the second to last play is a new school record that he just broke.
There's still plenty of time.
Draw play, Stockstill up the middle. Close to a first down, just shy. And they're actually going to move him back a yard or two to about the 9.
And Stockstill is not got 4.4 speed. He's not the quickest guy. He's not the most fleet of foot back there, but he's quick enough and he's fast enough to where you have to respect the ability to run the football. And he doesn't keep it a lot, but every now and then he will, and it really just keeps the defense honest.
Are you saying he's deceptively fast?
Well, I don't think there's much deception, but
3rd down. Mathers back in, takes it to the right. He is going to be just short of a first down. Might have picked up a yard, maybe 2.
Stockstill not happy about that one. Brent Stockstill not, as he just kind of leaned his head back at the conclusion of that play, as they're going to have to bring the field goal unit out. If you're Western Kentucky, that's a victory for you on defense. I believe, even though if they can knock this 3 down, you avoided a near catastrophe and giving up a touchdown on that drive. So you're still well in this game, even if the Blue Raiders knock in this field goal.
Cannon Rooker out to try and break this tie. Just under 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Kicks up. Okay, good. The Raiders lead 30-27 here at Middle Tennessee's homecoming.